Hey friends, it's Lisa with Forever Bloom. Here I am putting together the cute Scarecrow Shelf Sitter that holds the candle in his lap and his feet dangle. I've already painted him, mostly. We'll add some details as we go. Here I am using art glitter glue to add his bibs. And my glue is a little clogged up, so bear with me as I clean it out. I used deep ochre on his hat and then floated milk chocolate. And then I used deep burgundy. These are all deco art paints for a shirt. And then I used a stencil and stenciled polka dots with burlap.
Make sure everything is lined up.
His face is painted with burlap. And then I used a distressing crayon fire brick to add his cheeks. You want to make sure that everything is lined up so that the lap of the Scarecrow fits perfect. I used light buttermilk for his hands, and then I floated milk chocolate around just to kind of give it a little distressing, or warmed it up. And make sure everything is lined up. That's one thing I like about art glitter glue. It gives you a few minutes to move your pieces around.
Make sure everything is lined up there.
And then I'm going to add his nose. Just line it up with the engraving lines.
You can make sure just to follow the engraving line. And now I'm going to glue him to
And then I'm going to add the backer board. This is for support.
Make sure that everything is lined up really good.
Make sure everything is lined up.
And this is the backer.
And then I'm going to work on his legs. So this is the backer piece.
His legs.
And I'm going to use the baby wipe method and paint the back of the legs just to give it a finished look with milk chocolate.
I am using a baby
Again,
wipe,
this is deco art
and
paint.
I'm going to take some of this dark chocolate brown deco art paint, and I'm going to apply the brown to the back side of the legs just to give it a finished touch. Using a baby wipe method is just a
quick, easy faux stained
look.
Really gives it a nice finished look. And this is the back of the legs.
I'm also going to do the same thing.
And this is the bottom of the lap
section,
just to give it the finished look. And this is the top of the lap, and I'm just going to use Mountain Mist to match the blue jeans, the bibs.
Mountain Mist is the color I'm using.
and let that dry. I got some fresh paint and I'm going over it again with Mountain Mist.
All right, now I'm going to start gluing together.
All right, now that the back of the
legs.
legs are dry, I'm going to go ahead and start piecing him together. Here I'm starting with the one part of the legs. Make sure everything is lined up. And I'm going to do the cuffs to the jeans. I really need to work on working under the camera and not in front of me or moving my camera. I need to do something. Here I am just trying to make sure everything is lined up and looks good. And deciding that I had one of the cuffs upside down. So when you're looking at the cuffs, the larger, like there's a smaller side of the cuff and then there's a larger side of the cuff. And hopefully I get back into the video so you can see it. But I really wanted to make sure I had it lined up. Sorry. Now I'm looking at it going, is it right? So the larger side, like if you look in the middle of the legs, I lined up the two score lines and it looks like the larger side's on the bottom. And here I am adding some dots to the crow. I like dots, so sometimes I get a little dot crazy. I'm a more is more person. Sometimes I put too much, but that's okay. This is for me. You can paint however you want to paint your birds or your items. These are just for inspiration. I am by no means a professional painter. This is all self-taught. Now I'm going to add some dots to this crow. So here are the spacers for the hat brim, and the spacers allow you to put like raffia, or you can use yarn or any type of fiber to create the hair. You don't have to use these, you can just add the brim, and the scarecrow doesn't need hair. But I'm going to add some raffia. So I'm adding the spacers, and this will give me enough room in between the hat and the hat brim to add the raffia. Okay? So I'm going to let those dry for a little bit. I'm going to add the buttons to his overalls. The larger ones go on top, but you can put the smaller ones on top if you like. The other ones go on his cuff of his jeans. While this is drying, I'm going to go ahead and put together his lap. So the middle piece, you want to make sure the hole to hold his body is in the back, and the tab to connect his legs is in the front. Okay? So I'm adding the middle piece that's going to be sandwiched between the bottom and the top. And then I'm going to add the top piece. Just lining the slot for his body with the top. See, I almost put it on backwards. Okay, and then I always like to just kind of dry fit the scarecrow body in the slot, just to make sure there's like no extra glue or that everything is lined up right so it fits perfect. Here I noticed that I did not float milk chocolate around his little feet, so I'm going to add that real quick. So I'm just using my angle paintbrush, dipping the tip of the angle into some milk chocolate. My brush is wet, not too wet, because if it's too wet, then the float is too watery and it doesn't go on right. And just working around his little booties. Floating definitely takes practice. I have good days and bad days. Don't mind my dogs in the background. They always seem to think that when mom's talking that they need to get up, but they've been literally laying on the couch all day. Okay, now that those are done, we are going to work on his hair. All right, so here I am just kind of folding up the raffia into like loops back and forth. And then I'm going to take my hot glue gun, add a dollop of hot glue just to the side of that spacer, and use the end of my scraping tool to hold down the raffia. Now, it's okay that the raffia is super long right now. We'll give him a haircut later. Okay. Then I'm going to do the same thing with another strand of raffia. Just going to loop it around. And add another dollop of hot glue. Be careful, hot glue is hot. And use my scraping tool to hold it down. And give him a little haircut. I went about to his neckline. I was thinking maybe I should peel it apart, but I figured I'd do that after I got him, gave him a haircut. Make it a little more stringy. And here I'm just pulling apart the raffia, really easy, fluffing it up. And then started using my scraping tool to kind of help pull it apart, which worked pretty good. And then give it a good scrunch. Do the same thing to the other side. And then scrunch it up. Give him some volume. Still working on peeling some of those thicker pieces apart. Okay, now I'm just kind of looking at how the hat brim's going to fit and make sure that the raffia isn't blocking it from touching the spacers. Everything looks good. Thinking about if I wanted some going outside the hat brim, or down in front of his eyes, but I decided not to. So here I am adding art glitter glue to the spacers. And then placing the hat brim on. He's so cute. Now I am going to use these binder clips to help hold down the hat brim, so because the raffia was kind of pushing it up. I like to use binder clips. They're easy to use, so we'll let that sit and dry. Now I'm trying to figure out what type of fabric that I wanted to add. I got a whole bunch of cute fabric from Jubilee Fabrics online. They have jelly rolls, and so I had ordered a few different jelly rolls, and the hard part is figuring out which fabric I want to use. So bear with me as I figure that out. All right, so I found this piece. It's pretty cute. I'm just gonna clean up some of the strings, fray the edges. I really like the rustic vibe that frayed edges give. Country chic, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it. So I'm just gonna go around and pull the strings, make a mess. But I really like the look of this. So bear with me as I sit here and pull strings. And if you made it this far in my video, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. I sell these DIY kits on Whatnot, so make sure you check the description. It's either on my channel page or in the description of this video. You can find me on Facebook. There should also be a link to my Facebook page. If you're new to Whatnot and don't know anything about Whatnot, there should be a referral link where you'll get $25 credit at this time. That could change, so make sure you pay attention when you're signing up, because it was $15, now it's $25, and that's $25 free that you can use to purchase anything on Whatnot. So come to my show with your free $25 and buy some DIY projects. I cut out all these kits on my own laser. I use 1/8 inch MDF. MDF is really easy to paint. Okay, we're moving on. So here I grabbed some jute twine, and I'm just gonna kind of work the middle of the bow, and then I'm going to tie a knot, and that'll give me like a bow tie. So again, I really need to work on being in the camera when I'm working on my projects. I apologize, but you guys get the idea. Here I am, just one-handed, trying to do this one-handed-ish. Hold the bow in the middle and then tie a knot. And just keep in the middle of the bow scrunched up. Don't want to tie the string tight yet. You want to just keep it loose until you can get the bow how you want it. Okay. And then I'm going to add the fall tag. And this is just how I did it. You can do it however your heart desires. Just wanted to give you guys some inspiration of what I do when I put together my pieces. And now I'm going to tie this around the Scarecrow's neck. And trying to place everything, see how everything looks. I feel like the bow's a little too big, so I'm going to trim that down. So bear with me as I figure out how much I need to trim down. And of course, since I trimmed down the bow, I got to pull some more strings to give it the same look as the rest of it. Okay, that looks perfect. So I wrapped the twine around the neck, and I'm just going to give it a quick little tie, and then I'm going to tie and then wrap it back around the scarecrow, and then I'm going to tie a bow. And trim up the string. Super cute. And need to put his crow on his hat. And just kind of tuck him behind his little hat brim there. And then add the flower in front of the crow. Oh, he's turning out so cute. Adding a good dollop of our glitter glue to the slot that will hold his body. Let that sit. And here I'm adding glue to the legs that I'm going to be putting on the front of the lap. And finding the hole. Which is proving to be impossible, but it works. It's hard to look at stuff like this and put it together. So you can pick it up and look at it, but I was trying to keep it in the camera. I think I do end up picking it up and looking at it. Yeah, I decided to flip it over. And I did forget to glue or paint the back of the scarecrow, which I did off camera. And here I am making sure everything is in line and giving the glue a chance to kind of set. And there you have it.